Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Ashera.
I'm Jessica.
A teacher affects eternity, and one can never tell where their influence stops. This is a quote from Henry Adams that I found on relatability.com. So first I want you to think about the teacher that had the most inspiration in your life. Now consider, what if they never existed? So I'm going to start off by letting you know what sources I use for my research, which include relatability.com, teachaway.com, emily'squotes.com, payscale.com, csisd.org, swz.salary.com, whypayteachersmore.com, study.com, washingtonpost.com, oecd.org, and stillpointnutcracker.wordpress.com. So howdy, my name is April Armstrong, and I'm going to be talking about the need to raise teacher salaries. This is a picture of a teacher, and it is from teachaway.com. So we as humans go through about 20 or so years of schooling in our lives, and we encounter a magnitude of teachers. Some good, some bad, some very inspirational, and it could be, again, good or bad. So basically, teachers are the backbones to education, and if we don't have a solid foundation, then we can cheapen the leaders of our future. I want to inspire people. I want someone to look at me and say, because of you, I didn't give up. This is from an unknown source and found on emily'squotes.com. So first I'm going to talk about the salaries today. On payscale.com, teachers generally get anywhere between $41,000 in the United States, $41,918 to $49,090, depending on the level taught and the number of years of experience. It also depends on where you teach. So usually schools take into consideration anywhere between 0 and 25 years of experience, and there's elementary, middle, high school, college, etc. And that's from payscale.com. I'm going to give you an example of somewhere close. So College Station Independent School District has on their website at csisd.org their basic salary for teaching. So they have at 0 years, and they also have taken into consideration whether you have a bachelor's or a master's degree. If you have 0 years of experience and only a bachelor's, you will get $40,800. If you have 0 years of experience and a master's, you get $42,800. So it's a $2,000 difference between master's and bachelor's all the way down. And then it also ranges to 25 years of experience with a master's, you get $59,279 for salary. And again, that's from csisd.org. And different sites have different numbers, but they're basically within the same range, about $10,000 in deviation. So the median annual salary for a public school teacher is $53,315, and that's found on swz.salary.com. So similar jobs that kind of are in the realm of education include education program directors, which get about $107,506 for annual salary. And then there's also assistant school principals, which get about $80,662, and academic advisors, which get about $43,389. And I think school principals get about anywhere between $90 and $100. And then out of curiosity, I looked up school bus drivers, which get about $31,000. So there are some that are a little less than teachers, and a lot that are a lot more. But we have to take into consideration, teachers are the ones that are in the classrooms. They are the ones that are teaching the students, making connections with the students, and feeding us that information and knowledge. I also want to go into the lack of respect. Teaching does not have a good reputation with many people, and it's really unfortunate. They see teaching as some kind of babysitting job or something that takes little to no effort, which is completely wrong. I have been wanting to be a teacher for as long as I can remember, and several people that I've told, I've gotten negative feedback. And it's almost as if I am treated as an inferior person because of it, which is not okay. So I had an interview with Hendrick Middle School teachers, Teresa Norris, also my mother. She's been a teacher for almost 23 years, longer than I've existed. So I have seen what she has brought home. I have seen the amount of work and dedication that she puts into teaching. And I've also heard stories about the lack of respect that she gets from her students and from parents. Parents will blame teachers for their students' failures, which is, again, wrong. And students, even at some of the most prestigious independent school districts such as Plano and Allen, they treat their teachers as if they are nothing. It's, they talk back, they cuss, they don't show up to class, and it's just bad. And if that's in some as grotesque as it is at Plano ISD, I can't imagine what it would be at somewhere that's less fortunate. So earlier I asked you to think about a teacher that is most inspirational in your life. Mine is Mr. Magnuson. He was an art teacher in middle school and still is today. And I went to visit him last break, I think it was winter break, and I walked in, he was having class, and the kids were working on their projects, and I was talking to him in the front of the class, and one kid blurted out across the room, "Hey, yo, Mr. Magnuson, is that your chick?" And it followed with a couple of inappropriate comments with the boys who were sitting around him and just giggling everywhere. It's just out of line, inappropriate, and embarrassing. And the kids have the audacity to do that. It's just basically a lack of respect that needs to change. And that starts with improving salary and improving the status of the profession. Now I want to talk about the leaders of tomorrow. Teachers are teaching the leaders of our tomorrow. And they are the backbones of education. So we always say knowledge is power. And teachers are there watching us grow from kindergarten to college and on. And we forget that that knowledge that we're gaining is through a channel which is a teacher. They are giving us the knowledge that we need to succeed in life. And a lot of people don't realize that or just are oblivious to it. So basically, if we cheapen the job of a teacher, we are cheapening the leaders of our tomorrow. If we build the teaching, which is the channel that is needed to be successful, if we cheapen that, we're building it on a foundation of sand. And eventually that's going to fail, and we're going to sink and digress as a nation. We need to instead build it on a foundation of rock. And having a foundation of rock is more important because it's reliable and solid. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. This is a quote from Jimmy Johnson from relatability.com. So now I'm going to tell you about a plan of action. First, we need to weed out the bad ones. There are good teachers that are inspirational, but there are those that are bad and don't care. So we need some kind of system to weed them out and make room for the best and the brightest. And let's take that action and do that so that once we do that, we're able to have the best and the brightest, which are the ones that we were thinking about at the beginning, Mr. Magnuson, your examples. And I was wondering, how do we improve student outcome? It's not by spending money on better buildings or changing and tweaking the curriculum a little bit or even buying more technology. It's unnecessary. What improves student outcome is better instruction and better student feedback. And this is through a high quality teaching force. And in order to do this, we need to treat teachers as a high quality force by paying them for what they do, as well as upping the status. So next, let's up the stakes. Let's make the requirements of becoming a teacher harder. That's one of the complaints that I've had from people. Say, well, it's way too easy to become a teacher. You just take certification alternatives and then you're done. And to some extent, I agree. There's some easy ways to become a teacher. Let's weed that out, omit it, and let's make it a requirement that they at least have a major in education and a minor in the field of study that they're teaching. Or, to be paid more, make them have a major in that field of study that they're teaching. So if I'm going to teach math, I'll be a math major. Those are definitely different. I came in as an interdisciplinary studies major, and now I'm a math major. Definitely harder, so yes, it should be paid more. And I also found on study.com that there are alternative teaching certification programs that help you bypass the regular route. And so, like I said, let's trash those. So, more centralized curriculum. Teachers, on average, work 10 hours and 40 minutes a day, which is about a 53-hour work week. And this is from WashingtonPost.com. That's an astronomical amount. Just like another job, engineers, etc. I think it's a necessary evil to being a teacher. The amount of time spent, the effort, the late nights grading paper, I think it's a necessary evil because you're trying to make those connections. You are teaching people, you are molding and shaping students to be leaders. So it's necessary, it's important, but they need to be paid for that. Also, there's some information that people teach in different schools, different curriculums that's unnecessary. So why don't we take out the stuff that's useless and put in information that's more useful that makes the profession a better status. It's just like teaching us about taxes, teaching us how to apply to colleges and what that financial demand is. Loans, how to buy a house, a car. We don't learn that stuff. So let's have people that are more qualified to teach that, so upping the stakes and also weeding out the bad ones that don't care. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. This is a quote from Benjamin Franklin found on relatability.com. So the best and the brightest teachers. So I want you to, again, visualize the teacher that you had at the beginning of the speech and keep that in mind as I finish up. Let's fill the classroom with those teachers. They're the most important teachers. They inspire us. Mr. Magnuson inspired me to take a better path and be a better person. We need those teachers. They're dedicated and they have patience and they make connections. So a McKinsey and Company report, How the World's Best Performing School Systems Come Out on Top, noted that the important factor in improving student outcomes was getting the right people to come to teach. We need to attract, that is a very important thing, we need to attract the best and the brightest, but we have to up the stakes, up the pay, and up the status, because there are other things that could be better. There's competition. There might be a job over here that we're qualified for that's going to pay twice as much. And so we want to have that be a very important and vital part of it. But we also want to retain teachers. It's easier to retain a teacher that's already teaching. But the ones that have been teaching 5 to 10 years or so like that, they're starting to have problems because they have more financial responsibilities and more competition. So we need to retain those, attract and retain. And that is from whypayteachersmore.com, both of them. So, visualize student progress. And OECD's Annual Education at a Glance report paints a clear picture of how there's a direct relationship between teacher salary and student outcome, student performance. And that's from whypayteachersmore.tumblr.com. And basically, in simple terms, a 10% increase in teacher pay yields a 5 to 10% increase in student outcome. Let's keep that going. And basically, raising teacher salary is a positive externality. It's good money. It's a good economics. It's good value for where the money is going. And it's giving benefits to the consumers, which are the students, and also consequential benefits to the people that are not directly involved, which is society, because we are teaching and building and shaping the leaders of our tomorrow. Educational attainment. This graph shows the progress increase from 1933 onward. And basically it's with ages and having, upper, secondary, and tertiary attainment. So let's keep it going. If we fail and we cheapen the jobs of teachers, which are giving us the knowledge and forming and shaping our students, then we will see this, decline, and we will digress as a nation. So today you lead the school, tomorrow your students will lead the world. This is from an unknown source and found on relatability.com. So do you want to risk it? Do you want to risk the digression of the world? I don't. So stand up, take action, change begins with you. We need you. And this is from stillpointnutcracker.wordpress.com. Participate in strikes, sign petitions, be the change so that our leaders of tomorrow can be intelligent and bright and adequate. Thank you.